Good morning and welcome to Let's Talk Stroke. Marina and Kevin, nice to see you guys here. We were chatting before we even start. Pretty awesome how this uh, YouTube works and everything else. But anyway, I know there's been getting a lot of people that are joining new here. So for those of you that are new to Let's Talk Stroke, I started doing the show. I'm trying to think how long ago, but it's been quite some time, and it's time is flying. But anyway, for those of you that are new, this is a show bringing awareness of stroke, TBI, aphasia, brain injury. Also bringing on okay, uh, bringing on survivors to share their journeys from literally across the world. Um, but I was suggested to do this show about how cold weather, hot weather, how it affects us. But anyway, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel called Let's Talk Stroke, please do and hit the notification button so then you know when I go live. And not sure, I maybe switching times. I hate to do this, but days or times or whatever. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. So I'm just going to do a quick little intro and then we'll, by the way, my name is Jerry Wald. I'm a stroke survivor and I am your host. All righty. Well, anyway, good morning. I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm going to do my best to greet all of you and say hello. But Gary, nice to see you. And I said hello to all my other visitors out here, out of there, somewhere. Anyway, good morning. Good morning, Doug. Nice to see you, and I appreciate you guys being here. And again, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do, called Let's Talk Stroke on YouTube, and hit the notification button so then you'll know when I go live. So anyway, I was suggested to do the show on this because people ask me, how is do you get affected about your affected side? I do. The cold really, the hot, not too much, unless it's completely just really bad. But for me, the cold is just atrocious for me. I did my research on this, but I also, from my own experience, how it affects me. And I'll tell you, it's kind of torture for me down the cold. I don't know how you guys, um, how do you guys deal with it? For me, the cold weather really affects most stroke survivors. I'm just saying most. It actually increases a risk of having another stroke, which is kind of crazy. The cold weather, what it does, it can cause blood vessels to constrict, increasing blood pressure and the risk of another stroke. Also, poor circulation and stiffness reduces blood flow and can lead to numbness, tingling, or muscle tightness, especially in the affected limbs. And that's me. The poor circulation, even on my right foot, which is my affected side, and my right arm, I'm actually holding it and looking at it, thinking, "Well, you guys can't see this, can you?" So, but anyway, there's a lot of things that on that, and I just want to go back to who's it, Marina? Heating pad. Haha, cold is hard for me too. Yes, yes, yeah. It's really, hey Tom, James, but yeah, it affects me tremendously. The cold weather, and it's kind of difficult because anybody else in the house, I'd get, you know, um, it affects them that have had no brain injury. So it really is kind of crazy. But me, it's just torture. I mean, so before the show, I was walking around trying to get myself warm, but I put the temperature, for me, it's perfect, 73 degrees in the house because it's cold outside. But let's see, what else was I getting in on that? So poor circulation and stiffness, it's tough. And so many of us that have had a stroke experience increased spastic, spasticity, muscle tightness, and joint pain in cold temperatures. Does anybody have that same issue with you as well? I mean, good to hear. Not good to hear that. Just to so know that we're not alone. So joint pain in cold temperatures. Another thing, fatigue and weakness. Weakness. Hopefully, not. I don't want to say hopefully, but does that happen to you? The obviously the body works harder um, to stay warm, which can drain energy levels, which that's for me, which leading to increased fatigue, um, slower reaction time, and balance issues. That for me, the balance issue is just a tough one there. Um, so that's something that I have an issue with as well. I'm trying to make sure that if I miss anything, because I did a lot of research and thinking of myself, it can slow down muscle response. That's a big one too. Coordination increases risk of falls, and I'm trying to think. All my falls have been when it's kind of been cold out, and here the wind is torture. So if it gets the cold and then the wind on top of it, that's torture. And so for me, that's what my big deal is, the cold. Now I don't know about hot weather, how that affects you guys. Overheating for me in the hot weather, believe it or not, if we're going somewhere, we're on not a field trip or some type of um, the okay, let's just call it a field trip. I don't know what it's called. Were there animals around, and we got to see them, and but I had to have a wet, like a handkerchief, one of those big ones, bandanas. So I had to wear one of those just to keep it. We put them in ice, and so for overheating and heat intolerance, a stroke can damage the part of the brain responsible for temperature regulation. So that's huge there. Um, Kevin, yeah, yours is all messed up. Mine is too. So we could feel overheated quickly, even with mild activity. Another one, huge one. I know if Lynette, you're out there, I don't drink enough water. So dehydration is a huge one too. So um, dehydrating, heat can cause excessive sweating and dehydrate. Okay, we got to figure these words out. Dehydration. Um, so it does hit you. It thickens the dehydrate. It does thicken your blood and raises the risk of blood clots and stroke. Another stroke. I mean that. I mean, who would have thought? I'm glad that someone came up with this topic for me. The foot, James, the foot may be cold, especially going to bed. Yeah, yeah, Tom. Does everybody? I do. I have to wear socks to bed, and I can't. Because of the circulation. Does anybody have that issue with circulation where you can't just sit for a long time? So I have to lift my affected leg up for that reason only, just all the time. Um, um, let me see here, Tom. Tom, thank you for being here. Or Doug. Oh my gosh, I'm just like messing up here. Let's see here. So I'm sorry, I'm just trying to see here. Okay, Doug. Okay, so you live in Phoenix. The hot is okay. When it cools down around 50, arm stiffens. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Like the last few days, it snowed here, and oh my gosh, I used to love the snow, and now it's just like, yeah, I can't go out. I mean, just the temperature is brutal. I can look, but that's about it. So we go back into the heat. So the blood thickens in a hot weather. Really, it quicken. This is really true that especially it raises the risk of blood clots and stroke reoccurrence. So I don't suggest that. And the big thing is even with the heat is the my even my arm subluxation gets me. I don't know why. Heat temperatures drains energy levels. And does anybody have dizziness from that? Well, that for me it does, and leading to balance issues. And again, this is the heat, so there's a lot of similarities with cold and hot with having a stroke. Um, uh, it and for me in the heat, does this? I'd love to know this. Well, I'm looking here. Thank you, Sandy. Nice to see you. But how about you with um, spasticity, swelling, and neurological symptoms? You're feeling worse, reducing mobility and comfort. I mean, it's just tough. So you got to regulate yourself. Peace, Brad. Um, I sleep when heated pad. That's I Sandy. That's good. I toss and turn all night, so that thing would be it be all over the place. But I have one of those. We did a show on heat weighted blanket once, and I tell you, to me that was the best thing I've ever had was a weighted blanket. It's helped me just tremendously. So I, do people do this? Because I don't do this. So they give you I research, even though I'm using my own experience, but I also research some of the tips that to stay safe in extreme weather. Like, okay, for cold weather, dress in layers. That I can't do that. I used to when we lived in New York. Uh, you know, many layers. I can't do that. I can put a huge jacket on a one for the cold weather, but I try not to go, hang out in the extreme cold weather. I can't just do that anymore. That was something that So, but that's one of the tips. So, trying to stay in layered clothes. So you need that too. Uh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the comments, so I apologize. I'm fumbling around here. Um, Kevin, yeah, your aphasia kicks in when it's hot and cold. And you just got. I'm seeing this. Yeah, I have. Okay, a feather bed. Okay, Maria, that's pretty cool. I mean, that one's. See, excuse me. I want to get some tips. If you're gonna help me out, I can give you some. Keep. Here's another one. Affected side. Keep your hands and feet and affected limbs covered to prevent stiffness. And I saw a lot of you here mentioning the stiffness, which is huge. Stay active indoors to boost circulation. Circulation to me is one of the things that affects me, and to fall risk in both hot and cold. It's a huge fall risk. So, and I don't do a lot. Here's a couple things. I don't do as much as I monitor my blood pressure regularly. I should. Good morning, Kim from South Florida. I don't do that so much, but I my watch. I know there's the drink enough water. I don't. I I turn my. This is so sad. I turn my um, heart rate off because it used to go off not all the time, but when I'm just sometimes sitting doing nothing. Okay, so this one is stay hydrated, avoid excessive alcohol and caffeine. I would love to know how many people, um, um, what was I going to say? Uh, how many people monitor their blood pressure regularly and drink enough water? I know that's huge for us brain injury survivors. That's a huge thing. I'd love to know who does that. Uh, Gary, no streaking in the cold weather. Yeah. Um, Coffee, another thing. I love my coffee. Um, Papa Bear, it says right here. But who shakes when you have in cold weather? The hot weather for me doesn't really. I mean, it does affect me, but I'm just saying um, for let's say caffeine, yeah. Who has an issue with caffeine? I don't. I may, but I don't really monitor that a lot. Um, yeah, Lindora, good to see you. You too. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I drink. I know. I mean, I like to have something to drink. I have a monitor and check it whenever I need. You do okay? Yeah, I know. I just maybe it's because I don't want to hear bad news or see bad news. But here's another thing: wear light, breathable clothing and stay in air conditioning spaces. Avoid outdoor activities during peak hours. They say 10 to 4. I mean, I'm using cooling towels, which I mentioned earlier. I wear the cooling towel when it's really hot. Here in Texas, we get some serious weather out here. I mean, who knew it snows here in Texas? Well, it does. So outside it can't. Um, I don't drink caffeine. They pop. Oh, I know. I know. I feel like I'm gonna get yelled at here, but I love a Diet Coke. That's something I like. Um, something I'm not sure. Nice to see you guys. I appreciate it. I'm not most people don't hydrate. I'm sure most, but I know I don't. I mean, I've told that a lot of people. I don't hydrate. My wife tells me to. You know, here it is. See, it's right here. Did I drink it yet? No. Well, I took my pill, so using towels, cooling towels. I like it warm, but I don't like it cold. I know things have changed having a stroke. I mean, it really kind of messed me up here. But I'm 14 years out, and I'm still affected by this. Um, but but again, I'm using a lot of my experience and my research that I've done because people have asked me to do this. Use cooling towels, fans, or what we do in the backyard. We have a misting, the misters, um, misting sprays to help regulate your body temperature. That's a big, huge thing. Um, so weather sensitivity. Um, yeah, I love this. Weather sensitivity is common amongst us, stroke survivors, brain injury survivors. Um, and Vermont, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And please chime in if you want to ask me um, any questions, about how I deal with the cold weather, the hot weather, and what I went over being aware of how extreme temperatures affect our bodies. You can take um, proactive steps to stay comfortable, reduce health risks. And who knew that if you have if you get too hot, too cold, um, it's risk for another stroke. So how this was suggested to me because I talked about quite a bit about how cold and hot weather affects stroke survivors. I like to say, well, since I had my stroke, I'd like to say I had a stroke, but I talked a lot of brain injury survivors. So as a stroke survivor, a brain injury survivor, we notice extreme temperatures, whether cold or hot. It really can impact our body. Um, and you know why? It's because this is because a stroke can alter the brain's ability to regulate temperature. So affect circulation. Um, we're more sensitive to environmental changes. So I put a couple little things out here. And the thing is with cold weather, well, hot too, but cold weather can increase risk for another stroke. So if you somewhere if someone I'm good taking let me look I'm you take a water pill. Okay, my wife takes a water pill. Having bladder leaks at times. So drinking a bunch of water is hard. Yeah, I don't have the bladder leak, but I do have the issue with drinking and not enough water. So I should. Well, I guess it's kind of water, right? Coffee a little. No, no, no. cold weather, like I said, it can cause blood vessels to constrict, increasing blood pressure and the risk of another stroke. I mean, you know, poor circulation and stiffness. Who has that? I didn't know for the stroke effect, temperature gain. Yeah, it's cold. Yeah, the spasticity. Yeah, me too, Stephen. Same thing. And also, who has this issue when it gets too cold? I start my spasticity. I start shaking. So I have to definitely wear in here. I have the temperature up, so it's fine. But I my it never happened before. But I've noticed it is if I'm in extreme cold weather. Not this arm. Um, Kind of tends to come up. And that's something I don't, like having that. So that's something, the numbness, the tingling, that's all me. I have that. I wonder if you guys do too. Um, the numbness, tingling, or my muscle tightness, huge for me. You do, Kelly. Um, and if I miss you and didn't say hi, I apologize. But I'm trying to go. Uh, Rabs, Yard. Thank you for being here. I saw you, but I just apologize I didn't say hi. So, um, Stephen, exactly. Most stroke survivors in certain types of temperature have increased spasticity, muscle tightness, and joint pain in cold. That's cold temperature. Some people do in the warmer weather, but it's extreme weather. Um, for me, it's funny because I put this for me. I put little notes of what I happens to me is the body works harder and drains energy levels, increasing fatigue. Massive, right there. Fatigue and weakness. So, and slower reaction time. Jerry Chapman, nice to see you. Let's see, what did um uh, let's see, Cole, I shake too. Yeah, you do. I know me either, and it's a fall risk. I know that. I've done my share of falls. I feel like I'm a pro at falls. Who wants to be a fall pro? But I had to bring it up here, Jerry, just because you know um, well, it's easier to see instead of me putting my glasses on. I know obviously hot and cold affects us, but if we don't even try to put up with the inconvenient, yeah, weather, we're not really going anywhere to get better. Oh, look at this. That's true. I mean, I try it. Try it. The colder temperature affects me. Yeah. So, it's starting to feel like my grandfather joins me. Yeah, no, but Jerry, I 100% I agree that it's an issue, and I try. I don't. Okay, is that a bad thing to say? I try. Um, yep, that's another one. Yep, exactly, Kim. Increased falls. I mean, I posted a thing. I fell in the cold weather in the house, and my head went through the wall. Tells you the sheetrock or whatever it is not that great. But anyway, that's one of the things I've talked about. But that's kind of what I was. I know it was a little short show, but that's what I was. That was one of the big things I wanted to talk about is and who has an issue with balance in. Can I say inclement? I shouldn't even. I can't figure this word out. But anyway, if in hot or cold weather, what is um, balance issues? Who has the balance issues? Well, cold temperatures can slow down your muscle response and coordination, and increases the risk of falls. Um, that's good, Gary. I love it. This is funny. I love these jokes are darn funny. Um, I Whoever felt like they overheated in because your brain is responsible for temperature regulation, making it hard to cool down. Um, you may feel overheated quicker, even in mild activity. Yeah, and I try and walk fast. It's a little difficult, but I do it. So you don't want to trying to avoid excessive sweating, dehydration. J- drink a lot of water. But I understand about the about bladder issues with that, as far as we need to drink more water. But if you got a bladder issue, I mean, it's almost like a catch 22 there. Um, your tremors, Kelly, yeah, I'm with you on that. And even with an AFO, it causes me to have if it's a really bad weather or cold weather, the heat, I can be okay. But the cold, no, I can't really deal with that. But anyway, and so that's kind of what I've been asked a long time ago. Let's talk about something like weather. How it affects you, how it affects us. So that's what today's morning show is on. This Thursday, I have a wonderful guest too, and she's gonna share her story. Um, but anyway, that's kind of what I want to talk about. But I do understand, Kevin, about the aphasia. That also causes issues too in different things. Really know when it's going to rain. Yeah, I feel it coming up. Isn't that funny? But you guys, I really do appreciate you guys coming here and supporting the cause of spreading awareness to stroke, TBI, and if there's any other like suggestions, I would love to hear it. Just because I've been suggested this a long time ago, but yeah. So that's kind of it. And I just you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm going to Disneyland. No, I'm not going. But anyway, I hope you guys have just a wonderful rest of your day. And feel free to reach out to me. Any questions, whatever. I'm here. And we'll chit chat on Thursday, unless I talk to, which I do, a lot of you, um, different times of the day. So have a great day. Be safe out there. And I appreciate